have the right mentality about it. Like, hey, I want them to know that I've taken care of their friend. Like I love him, or like just like everyone else does. And it's a separate type of love, and it's something that whether you like it or not, it's going to be there, and it's going to be unwielding and uncompromising. Men, I think we kind of approach things a little bit. We try to overthink things and try to madden it to death.
Yeah, yeah. I think the opposite side of that too is, well, I guess first and foremost, I think that goes both ways. So like you were saying, you chose the route of being yourself unfiltered because it's who you are, and you can't control who like you. But at the same time, like, I think that's also important for the friends of, your significant other to do as well. Because, like, I can't see myself, and this applies to any of my friends, like, I can't see myself tailoring myself to the standards of their significant other. You know what I mean? Like I can't see myself doing that. And luckily for us, we were never in that situation. And I always think about that in terms of mental health, simply because I know, like, if you were to go into your own mode, yeah, your wife is going to check on you. But I also know at some point she's going to come either ask me about you or, because I know exactly what's going to go on. Yeah, you might tell her you okay or you good or whatever. I might get the same answer. It's probably just not going to be in the same words.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that's the gist of it, and that's the point, So it's like, when I look at situations like that, and I think to myself, with the amount of stuff that we all have going on in our lives, if you needed to talk to me about Shannon, or Shannon needed to talk to me about you, or anything, everybody already know what line I'm towing. And regardless of not whatever history we got, if Rich is fucked up, Rich is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of person I am. And you and I can have that conversation. But at the same time, that doesn't always apply. Because also on the opposite side of that is, just like you said, we may overthink it and be like, all right, do we need to impress the friends, or do we not need to impress the friends? Whereas a woman might be like, well, you know what? I just want them to know that I'm taking care of whatever this man needs. But the opposite side of that is, I think, is that, especially with males, we don't really do the level of entourage that women do. We don't have the girlfriend clique and stuff like that. So I think also if a woman hits a man up, one of her man's friends up about something that's going on with her man, like, whoever that friend is probably gonna take it super serious and carry it out. Whereas, and this is just my personal opinion, people can take it however they want to, but I feel like more often than not, you have those friends somewhere among those female cliques that are happy for you but not happy for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, they want to help you with whatever problems you're having, but at the same time, they're not necessarily upset that you're having problems. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, I'm going to cater to you and help you out and make sure that you're good, and I'm also going to tell you that Rich ain't shit.
It's more so that they want to know the problems. They don't necessarily need to help you through it. They just want to know that you're having them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the opposite side of it. So it's like, if I'm my significant other, whoever it is, like, I feel like if I'm having a serious mental health issue, like, prime example for me, and this could be real world context for me. Like, if I were married and I was overseas and I already have limited contact, then whoever reaches out to me got to have some level of ground, some level of bona fides, a lot of knowledge, some fidelity on who I am, etc., before you even come to me a certain type of way, especially if I'm outside of the country. And if I was with somebody and they reached out to Rich, I already know how, Rich is going to come to me, especially if he have to come to me overseas and we already have limited contact. But I feel like if that was the opposite, I feel like, probably, especially with how much I'm going, there's going to be that girlfriend that's going to be like, you know what, I already told you, Corey ain't shit. Or maybe he is shit, but he always gone, and, whatever. And no matter how they help you, what matters most is the underlying intention.
Mm-hmm.
What type of deposit are they making into that emotional bank? Is that I helped you so I can come back later and throw it in your face that I helped you?
Mm-hmm.
Or and tell you that, you know, this dude wasn't good for you? Or is it that genuine, I don't care if you all work out or not, you care about Corey, I care about Corey, I want to make sure that Corey good, so I'm going to do what I need to do right now for you. And I can't I guess it's super easy for me to say because we have so much established history, not just among you, but among, you know, Trey, all the rest of my friends, where it's like if people come to me and say, you know, Rich been down or Rich been off his game or Trey been weird lately or something going on, I don't know what it is. Like there's a way about that I'm going to go about. And first of all, I'm not going to press it because that's never what we do. Eventually, we'll sit down, we'll chop it up, and the issue will come out. And we let it know, you know, we let it be known right then if we're going to discuss it at that moment or if we're going to discuss it later. But what that does for me and what that would do for any of them is let them know that, all right, this is an issue. I know what the issue is. He'll talk to me about it when he get around about it. You know, but it's not so pressing that the moment's not going to come where we actually talk about it because he's going to leave this conversation and go and do whatever, you know. And
why do you think we decide to do that? Like you and I both do that. So like we never come out and be like, hey man, if you want to talk, you know, just you know, let me know, or what's on your mind. We tend to let each other breathe through it.
Yeah. Well,
and what makes you decide to, you know, go ahead and bring it out?
See, the thing is, and this just go back to relationship too. This ain't even a us thing. This is a thing in general, and it's all about being careless. You know, it's about being so selfless that you know that it's truly not about you. You know, and when somebody knows that already creates a certain level of comfort. And you always run into people that, you know, want to know just because they want to know. And when I approach something like that, like I'm approaching it from the perspective of, you know, this the homie, you know what I'm saying? Like this the bro. And I don't need to cater what I want to what he need. I need to, you know what I'm saying? I need to cater to the fact that this isn't about me. And my job is to either A, listen, B, not press the issue, or C, do nothing at all, because that also come down to knowing your friends. And most of us, we will let you know if we need something. You know what I'm saying? Because I can say to the point too, because we're so direct. Like, been many times you done said something to me directly and been like, you know, this what's going on, but I ain't gonna get into it right now. You know, we need to go hit some hookah. We had that conversation. You know, what you doing on whatever, you know, what you doing on whatever date or whatever. We won't press it. It's been time something that came up and we ain't press it for weeks on end.
Yeah.
And still came back around to it. And that comes from truly being selfless. Because if you were to say the exact same thing to me and your mannerisms, your actions, whatever, then match up what is standard for Richard Washington, that might be a situation where I press. All right. That might be a situation where I say, all right, I hear him, but I know Richard enough to know this still ain't, this still ain't copacetic. I might need to press this. Even if I don't press it right now, I might need to, you know, follow up with an impromptu jam session or something. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always just random with us too, where we might be working out and you be like, man, this shit right here that happened. You know what I'm saying? It might come out whenever. You don't know when it's going to come out. But the point is to be observant enough to know the mannerisms of your loved ones. And I want to put it that way because loved ones branch a whole bunch of categories, you know, from my homies to my significant other. And if they are truly my loved ones, I love them enough to pay attention to them to know what is and what isn't when they real and when they bullshit. And if I don't know that, then I'm not even sure I can sit here and be like, well, you know, that's my loved ones. If that's my loved one, then why don't I know what the fuck's going on with her?
Yeah. You pay attention to, you know, we're all ritualistic and, you know, personally, you know, we do things. We all do things in our own individual way. So if you know someone long enough, you start to pick up on their routines. You know, you can pick up on how they're going to answer something before you ask them. Yep. And you know, you also pick up on, you know, their own internal deadlines. So if a person, you know, is not big on the phone, but they text you every other day, you know, or you start to get that feeling around a certain time when they're going to hit you up. And I think it's important that people pay attention to these signs, pays attention to their friends' schedule and their rituals, because it's very subtle. And to anyone that's not as dialed in as you and doesn't have the history, they wouldn't know. You know, you can't really tell if somebody comes home and just goes straight to bed. That could be peculiar for certain people. For others, that's just how they do things. They go to sleep and recharge. Yeah. You have to dial in to your friends and loved ones. But also, I think that emphasizes the importance of really figuring out how you feel about your friends, you know, and the people that you love, making that decision to love, and then following through. Because love isn't just like, oh, I love this person, and it stops there. That's when the work is just beginning at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to invest in them emotionally. You have to want to know what's going on. You have to want to help them through, because that's what love is.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess that's another reason why I always find it hard to digest suicide. I mean, even more so if it's somebody that was close to me or that I knew personally. But even, you know, on the level of Mac Miller, because I'm like, if you hit me and was like, I'm about to get a divorce, nigga, I'm flying to DC. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be up there for whatever period of time. I don't care if that's to see both of you all through this and make sure you all make it out of the other side, or to see you through the outcome. And first of all, do understand that's completely hypothetical, because I know that's not happening with this dude. But
no.
but at the same time, I'm like, if I were to get a call like that, I gotta
no questions asked.
Yeah, I gotta have eyes on. I have to have eyes on. So I have to feel like, all right, when I read about Mac Miller, I see a lot of people talking about, you know, his breakup, which means a lot of people knew he took the breakup hard, which means, where are those people that love this man? If you love this man and you knew he took that breakup hard, like, even down here, let's say for whatever reason I couldn't fly to DC, like, you about to get a text or call, something every day, like, I'm checking in. And I you know, I can account from this, and I'm not going to, you know, name no names, but, you know, I had a friend recently from Georgia, longtime friend, all the way back from elementary school, ended up being raped. Nobody believed her. Family didn't believe her. Nobody else believed her. And you know what I'm saying? Like I received that peculiar text message that was like, you know, you always been a good friend, yada yada yada, and something's off in the message. You know what I mean? like something's off in the message, to where it felt too much like a goodbye than it felt like a hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, and from that point on, like, she received text calls habitually, because I mean, I'm just not having that from nobody that I'm close to, and luckily from her, like, she came out the other side, and that had to be super difficult to do, because one, not only do you have the police and the hospital and your family not believing you, but then on the backside, you know, you find out you pregnant, and not only is that proof that whatever happened, but you got all type of other stuff to deal with. And I sit there and I look at stuff like that, like, if I was a woman and that happened to me and I said something like that, I already know my family and friends are not going to question it. Like they're just going to be there. I could be completely blowing fucking smoke. I could be out of my mind. I could be doing whatever. But I know what's not about to happen is, you know, the people close to me be like, you lying, or I don't believe you, or it's all in your head, or, you know, it didn't happen. And sometimes, even when that is the case, it may speak to the mental stability of the person. So even if you knew for a fact that it didn't happen, whatever's going on in their head may be real to them, which means your job in and of that moment is to simply be there. You can resolve the rest of the situation later. Your job at that moment, as a friend, as a sibling, as a parent, as a loved one, as a significant other, whatever, like, your job is to non-judgmentally